And welcome everybody to the Brewers episode of the Put on Raiders podcast. I'm your host, Dwayne Douglas. As always, I am podcasting on the beautiful shores of the Pacific Ocean. Beautiful day out here in Southern California. PORSPR is my Twitter handle, so check me out there. Also, check out Ryan Holmes at RHO1122, Saul Lopez at The Saul Lopez. Um, on Twitter, and then Coach B as well is always a great who does the USC show with me a lot of the time. Check him out at Blue DVL 21 on Twitter. Happy to have those guys be partners with me as well. So Raider Anger on Twitter. So I think the thing about it is with obviously the fans have a more emotional connection to the Raiders than the media does. That's for the media, it's just a job. For Raider fans, it's a lifestyle, it's everything. So for me to really kind of like talk about it real quick, it's just like Raider fans who've been through this before, they've been right a lot of the time. And then when they're right a lot of the time, what happens is the media can just go away and go to their jobs and then be kind of silent on that side. The Raiders have not really signed anybody of substance, any difference makers in free agency. They did trade for Geno Smith. We know about that, but nobody's. The thing that really bothers Raider fans is this: nobody's asking them to go out there and go just go crazy, but there's clear needs on the interior, on defensive and offensive line. There's clear needs at corner. There's clear needs at a lot of different places, and there's clear needs at safety as well. When you look at Trayvon Morey, we have to hope that Jeremy Chin, who was signed the other day, is going to be that guy for the Raiders, right? But it doesn't come from nowhere. And this attitude where people are tweeting that, hey, we signed Lamarcus Jordan to a big budget, a big contract. We signed Trent Brown. So does that mean what does that mean? That's years ago. Who cares? Like who actually gives a what about that? It doesn't it doesn't mean you do nothing now, you know. The Raiders have, the ticket sales are ridiculous. I thought this was I thought they moved from Oakland to Vegas to be more lucrative, and it's not showing up in free agency. So I'm not saying like, hey, go get me go get me a guard, go get me a D tackle who can who can do some things in the middle. Get me a corner, like give me some of those things, and then I think Raider fans would be like a little bit more less wouldn't have so much worry in their heart about this new and about this new administration here with the Raiders. I mean, you can't just like keep getting like backup pieces and then think you're going to compete. You got to go out there and get some. You got to go out there and get some pieces that really matter. If for the Raiders, and if you don't, then you end up in a position where you're going to be in fourth place in the division. Are they going to be better this year with Geno Smith and Pete Carroll? Well, usually Pete Carroll's pretty good. I mean, the worst year he's had in in Seattle was 7 wins, and then the last 3 years the Seahawks, and he wasn't there for the last year, but 9-8, 9-8, 10-7. Like the Raiders haven't had 3 winning seasons in a row in forever. So, I mean, I get be a little bit patient. Let's see what they do. But this whole thing about, hey, this this free agent class stinks. They're going to build a team through the draft. This is you can get some good players in this draft, but like this idea that you can get like the idea that this is a tremendous draft is not a tremendous draft. That's not a great draft. It's not an all time draft. Like what when you have some of these all time drafts, and this isn't one of them. So yes, you got to give them time to do what they have to do, but you know the Kobe Bryant saying that I always put out there is, one of the biggest mistakes you make in life is thinking that you have time. And this is going to be the way it is because we're going to be hiring, you know, Tom Brady guys until our kids are taking care of us with diapers in the old folks home because Tom Brady's not going anywhere because he's an owner. It's not like when Mayock and Gruden was here or Ziegler or anybody else. It's not going to matter. So, Eric Stokes gets signed by the Raiders. Often injured cornerback. Um, Probably has the size and length um, that Pete Carroll likes, but he is somebody who is not bad. Has a lot of injuries. Missed 23 games. He's not available. So if you let go of um, if you let go of I can't remember his name now, Hobbs for being not available, then this guy is even less available. He was a former first round pick in 2021. You got Lonnie Johnson Jr. Lonnie Johnson Jr. Safety from Carolina, very good special teams player. So we'll see what happens there. Eldon Roberts is going to be the Rob Spillane replacement. Spillane went to the Patriots. So you have that. The replacement for Moreg is Jeremy Chin. He's been signed to the Raiders, and the Raiders did sign some of their own guys, Kuntz and Butler. So for me, I mean, I would have at least the one guy who and Alex Kappa, who had a horrible year last year. We all know how he blocked poorly for the Bengals last year. I mean, I 100% would have signed Moreg because to me with Moreg, I would have franchised Moreg and then say, hey, let's work out a deal so you don't play on the franchise tag. And the Raiders didn't use the power of the franchise tag to get a deal done. They just let him walk. And he's better than any safety on this team. Jeremy Chin had comparable numbers, so we'll see what happens with Jeremy Chin. We'll see what the level of play he gets to. But I mean, to me, I would have just signed Jeremy Chin and Trayvon Morrig. I mean, that wouldn't have been that much money. I don't like the I get scared when you let go of people in their prime. You let go of people who are in their prime. I mean, Spillane is a loss. Diablo, not really a loss. I understand how much money those guys get paid, but I thought that at least, Coons, if you walked away with Coons coming back and you walked away with um Trayvon Moore coming back, then I think I would have felt a little bit more comfortable. But we'll see what happens there. And Eldon Robertson, I mean, who knows? I mean, the one thing I will say is that when Spillane came, I didn't think he was going to be as good as he was, and he ended up being a really good player for the Raiders. So we'll see if Roberts can replace him. But yeah, this has been very. I mean, like I said, this has been disappointing for the Raiders. If you're a Raider fan, this has been disappointing. But you have to. I'm going to wait and kind of try to chill out and just till for the whole totality of free agency to be over, the drafts and everything like that, and then we can kind of get a full. I mean, after the draft is over, that's pretty much your team. As far as that goes, so we'll see if the Raiders can pick up the pace and do anything here in free agency to help this team, just compete and compete at a higher level. The one thing I'll say about the Geno thing before we head out is okay, you trade for Geno Smith. I don't have a problem with that. Ryan Holmes called it, like a couple months ago on the show that Geno Smith would be the guy that the Raiders pick up. I was okay with the move because I was like, oh yeah, Geno Smith. I knew that a Geno Smith level quarterback was going to end up being on the roster. They were. I mean, even if they drafted it, they don't control their path as far as drafting a quarterback. They have to hope somebody falls, or they have to trade for one. My thing about it is, I don't know why I'm paying him. I don't know why I'm going to be. I should say paying him, but why am I going to be? How can I put it? Extending his contract. Like if he was coming in to play for 27 million, I'm good. Let him play for that. And then if he has a good year next year, and we're in a situation, where the rookie quarterback still ain't ready, then okay, fine. Sign him for another year and give him a contract. But like this, like these NFL teams who are terrified, I don't understand how they are just terrified to not just have quarterbacks who are already signed play out their deals because there's no guarantee money on it. If you play the games, the money's guaranteed. The money's coming to you. The money's guaranteed. Upfront money every single time, like upfront money for you know, Josh Allen, fine. Upfront money for Joe Burrow, fine. Patrick Mahomes, fine. Let Geno Smith play on that contract. Go out there, bang it out, have a big year. You know, go get 15 touchdowns with Brock Bowers. Be a top 10 quarterback, and then okay, let's talk about a new contract. Seems like this is a deal that Chip Kelly's excited about too as well. So all this stuff like that, that's fine. But like this idea that like I gotta give him a new contract, and the contract news should come out today for folks. But I don't see that. That's where I thought we were getting like but would the Raiders have been better off getting Daniel Jones for a year cheaper, and then you can spend more money in free agency to fill up some holes, and then you have and then also you can do what you gotta do in the draft. But the draft is not gonna. The Raiders have like what, 9 picks, something like that, and then like if you get four of those guys to be compared to be starters, that's a great draft. Like a lot of these guys fall by the wayside because they can't handle the NFL game. Then they got 2 6-round picks. I mean, are you? I mean, if any of those two 6-round picks are special teamers, that's a good drive. I mean, that's a good draft. Gotta be realistic. Gotta be really realistic here if you're the Raiders. As far as that goes, like I said, the Gino move, the Gino look for Gino stuff. The Gino deal to be announced today. I'm recording this in the morning, so we will see if that comes out for the Raiders. But haven't did a show in a long time. I just want to get on here and talk a little about the free agency, and we'll be on here a little bit more often. A show, we'll see every other day here this week to get everything going, and get you guys abreast of what my thoughts about what the Raiders do in free agency. So we know who they signed so far. We'll see if they get anything else done in the future, and we'll see what's on as far as like players of significance who can really help the Raiders. Do some things instead of some of these guys with the 1 year, low money deals who are probably who let's see if they can even be healthy enough to make the roster. All right. Raider fans, see you next time. Peace. Go Raiders.